Calgary? That is so much better. My name is Nicole, and much like you, I am a big fangirl. But we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about our guest backstage. So, how this is going to work is I have the fabled piece of paper with all of the fan questions. I am going to be your conduit. I'm going to ask them all the questions you want, and then you can watch, enjoy, and live this for the rest of your lives. I think we're ready to go, guys. Are you ready to go? Guys, these vampires single-handedly, raised us. I think we can do better. Are we ready to go? Twilight. We've got Kellan, Lutz, Peter Facinelli, I totally butchered your name probably, and Rachelle Lefevre. I butchered your name. Boys, there's enough chairs for everyone. Now, they did give you mics. Perfect. How's your guys' trip into Calgary been so far?
Wonderful. I mean, I haven't gotten to see much outside of Calgary, but the people have come to us, and it's been fantastic. I'm so excited to come to Calgary, actually, because I haven't been here in so long. I did this con 15 years ago, so it's been too long. And then I did a movie in 2005 here, so I really fell in love with the city. So I was really excited to come back. So thank you for the warm welcome. Appreciate it.
So I have fan-submitted questions that you're trying to currently get cheating. You'll get them, it's fine. So I'll go through some of their questions, I'll go through some of mine, because I was absolutely that girly that forced her boyfriend to go to every single Twilight movie. He did marry me, so I feel like that was the perk. I know. So we'll start with Izzy R. from Cochrane. She would like to know, looking back now, what's one thing you wish fans knew about filming the original Twilight movies that maybe never made it into the spotlight? I ask hard questions.
That's a good one. I think, I don't know if a lot of fans know, but the baseball scene is so iconic, right? But it was our first 3 days of filming, and they were so chaotic. And so it was the first day of school on a new movie. Everyone's trying to find their feet, and it couldn't have been the most chaotic experience, because it was raining, and people's makeup was raining. And I remember telling Elizabeth Reeser, and I was yeah. She goes, your makeup's running. I said, yours too. She goes, you look terrible. I go, you too. And then at one point, it was still drizzling, and so sometimes when it's raining, you can go to what they call cover sets. So then everybody would just go to an indoor set. But we had been filming for 2-3 hours in the rain, and then I remember being huddled in a little tool shed, and everyone was in there shivering. And the assistant director said to the director, "Do you want to go to a cover set?" And she said, "No, just put hats on people. You wear a hat, no hat for you." And we were we just filmed 3 hours without hats. Now we have baseball hats. So, but we didn't know she was had a plan, So because for us, we were just feels like an Ed Wood set. So we're oh no, no one's gonna watch this movie. This is gonna be terrible.
Do you remember when we were all we're never gonna work again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was I remember going that night. We were I don't think anybody's gonna see this movie. This is I think we messed it up, And then we didn't realize she had such a plan, because I direct now, so I understand what she was doing. If she would have got everybody in vans and drove to another location, she would have lost another 4 hours, right? And then the whole day would have been wasted. So instead, she was well, I'll just scrap the first couple hours and I'll just start now, And so, but we had no idea that she had a plan. And then when we saw the baseball scene all cut together, it was burn, and oh my God, this is the best scene I've ever seen in the movie. Never would have known. And so maybe not a lot of people know that movie, that scene in particular was the first scenes that we shot, but also went from being the worst of the feeling like it was going to be bad to probably my favorite scene in the movie, honestly.
Definitely the most iconic of the series, absolutely. I also love the fact that they threw you guys into a baseball game as like a team building for your first shoot.
We practiced for like a week, playing baseball together, which was
I can't wait to that stuff. So, yeah, how was it? You guys, did you have to do baseball?
we did baseball camp. It was like a little baseball camp of like. Were you there for the baseball camp?
I was not there. While you guys were doing baseball camp, I was learning to walk the magic carpet with Eddie and Cam.
Oh, right. See, that looks way better than our running on a treadmill pulled by a truck.
Yeah.
That's right, because you never actually played baseball.
It was incredibly. Well, I didn't need to learn how to play baseball.
Because she's the one with the wicked curveball.
Because I'm the one with the wicked curveball. And what I remember about that is when they were like, we did it in shoes, and then we did it barefoot, because of course we're barefoot, and then when we got out there, they were all like, they have to cover it, so they were covering it with like leaves and sticks, and obviously like we're out and so we were like, we're gonna be barefoot all this, and they were like, oh no, we built you feet, like barefoot feet. And they were made of like foam, and they were so awful and awkward, and you can't tell in the movie, thank God, but if you had seen us in real life, we looked like hobbits.
I didn't even know this. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I would look down at my like hideous foam feet and just be like, how are we gonna pull this off? But we did.
Yeah.
Awesome. We have a question from Bree D in Calgary. If your characters had been given a spin-off movie or a show, what story or time period would you have loved to explore?
Ladies first.
I would like to go back in time and see the adventures of Victoria and James. Ooh. Like, I would like to see the two of them just having, because my favorite thing about the way that that we got to play, quote unquote villains in this movie is that, like, a lot of the time the villain seems really miserable. Like the motivation of the villain is that they're jealous. They're unsatisfied. Somebody has something they want and they can't reconcile it, right? Or they're miserable in some way and they want to punish everybody. So a lot of the time the villainhood comes from this like broken, damaged place. And I remember reading the book and I remember prepping for the character and I was like, oh no, this lady's having the time of her life. Like, she's enjoying it. She's just like, oh my God, I have all this power. I can eat people. I can do what I want. I can go where I want. They're having a great time. And James, when Cam came, the way that Cam was doing it, he was like, always had this like cheeky smile. And he was and I was like, oh, he's coy. He's having fun too. So I would just like to see the two of them having fun, like wreaking havoc somewhere.
Just chaos squad.
Just
across
chaos.
the world.
Yeah. Preferably in Europe.
Excellent choice.
I've never looked at it that way. Because actually, like, we're the outliers. Like, you're like, what's wrong with you? It's like a lion playing with his food. You're just like, stop playing with your food. And then when James dies, you're just out for like, hey, you killed the person that I love. So actually, you guys aren't so bad now that I think about it.
Thank you. This is what I've been saying.
I think maybe we're just crazy.
Like,
the Collins are like a little crazy.
Like, I'm sorry.
What are you doing? You're vampires. Stop playing with your food.
Right, and also I get that like in the movie, you're like, oh, they've been together for 5 minutes. But like we were together for like 150 years or something. You know what I mean?
This is the greatest love story that was never told.
Love story ever told.
No.
That's Team Edward and Bella is to James and Victoria.
Right.
Are a wonderful love story. I can see that.
Is there
coming to you
backstory
this fall on Netflix? James and Victoria.
If anything, it's
so
definitely
nice to have Rachelle here because we usually do this all the time, but we get so
We don't
many
get
good
another
stories.
perspective.
So now we have questions for you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right? No, go ahead.
I can handle you. Hit me with it.
Did you and Cam, like, what is that backstory? How did your characters meet? Did you and Cam as actors discuss your relationship together, or did you just play off his?
You know what was amazing was that I definitely know, like, myself, Cam, and Eddie are all actors who do prepare and are thoughtful about backstory. And I say that because some actors show up and it's just as valid. Some actors show up and they just do what we call playing the page. They just play the page. this is the scene you're in, and we're not showing what happened before, so it doesn't really matter what story you tell yourself about that. And I'm definitely like, I make up a backstory for myself if there isn't one. And I think that we would have had that conversation. But honestly, the three of us, when they put us in like rehearsal for the magic carpet, it just kind of worked. Like it just worked. And Eddie he was Laurent. Like he's just a class act, Eddie. Like he's got great posture. You know what I mean? Like he's just a class.
Well, he's a Juilliard trained actor. People don't know that he is a very trained actor.
Yeah.
So I was always jealous that he went to Juilliard. I was like, because I went to NYU, but Juilliard was like the school for.
Your character went to Juilliard, right?
No. Him in real life went to Juilliard.
But you could give yourself that backstory because you could tell yourself anything, right? Before you became a doctor.
What was your backstory though? Like, did you create?
I did. It wasn't like as specific, but it was more this idea of the story that I just said I wanted to tell. Right? Is like, what is this relationship? Because it's the motivation for my character stalks her, right? And that's all I do. It's not like I have some other storyline with some other character, or like I do one thing, and that can get redundant.
How did you get turned? Do you know?
How did I what?
How did you get turned?
How did I get turned?
Yeah.
Or if you didn't like, because Rosalie saved my life.
Yeah.
And so I'm forever grateful for her. She's my angel.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating having you here.
So I love you, Kellan. So I didn't have a specific story, but I knew, like, I didn't make up like a whole narrative, but I had one fact that I knew was true, and I was like, she chose this. Like,
I love.
That's how I felt. Like this is not a person who is a victim of something. This is a woman who was powerful before. And was like unapologetic before. I don't think that she was, something happened to her and then that like she grew into that place. I really think that's who she was before. And some people get offered, lots of power at a terrible cost, and they don't care.
Yep.
And they take it anyway, and they don't care who has to die, and they don't care who has to get drained of all their blood. They'll just sign me up. And I really feel like she was like that. And not in a sadistic way, just in a
a powerful woman taking it to the next level.
And if we're talking about 150 years ago or however many hundreds of years, you want to imagine that this is a woman who would have had no power. Like, we're not talking about somebody who today was like, oh yeah, I want more power. We're talking about a woman who would not have had a voice, who would not have had money of her own, who would not have been able to have a job, who would have been expected to have children and just be quiet and not have a place, not have a voice, not have a vote, right? And so when you start naming those things, it suddenly seems to me less villainous to go, somebody's going to come along and go, you want out of all that? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
You have to drink a little blood. Fine, whatever. We'll do the details later,
She was the OG feminist and honestly here for it. Yeah.
Actually, I've never got to share that, so thanks, Kellan.
I have another question. Sorry, I know there's a lot of questions. I'm just fascinated because we don't always get the other perspective. Do you know, Laurent, did you talk to Eddie about his character at all? Because I wish he was here, because why is Laurent third wheeling it? What's his story? Like, it's just like, oh, these two people are in love, I'm just going to tag along.
Victoria's kind of kinky like that.
Yeah, okay. All right, I see that. Is that the backstory?
I'm like, what's her name in the Wheel of Time that has the two, the two worders, right?
Yeah.
Like I like her, and like, oh, she's got the right idea.
I am the wolf.
I don't know if there's any Wheel of Time fans in here.
Was it Neapolitan?
Yeah. No, I didn't. We actually didn't talk about it. You know why I didn't talk to Eddie about his character? Because I'm really bad at recognizing people. Like, you could be somebody that I had seen in 100 movies, and I lived in LA for so long that it is possible that somebody very famous that I know very well who they are standing in front of me at the supermarket, and I just won't recognize you. Like, my brain just doesn't function that way. And so I actually, when I met Eddie, the first conversation we had was I went, you look really I was like, I know you. And he was like, I don't know, do you? And I said, do you know Tara? Oh, do you know Tara from Silverlit? I won't use her last name, but I was like, oh yeah, do you know Tara so-and-so from Venice? I feel like we met at one of her, and he was like, no. And this went on all day. All day. Eddie, no, I swear, do you know, were you in that acting class? Like, all day, it just kept going. And he just kept going like, no, I don't think so. And at the very end of the day, we were about to wrap, and some crew member, like some grip, walking by, holding, just walked by and just went, hey, I loved you on House, man. And I was like, he had just finished, which I had watched every episode of, a season of one of the most successful network TV shows on the air at the time. And I looked at him and I was like, I can't swear, but I was like, you could have just said, do you watch one of the most popular shows that ever, like that? And that was it. I thought I knew him all day, but it turns out I was just fangirling. I just liked House. So that's all we talked about.
Boys, do you have any fun stories about your characters? Maybe their backstories? Wanna go?
What was the question? It's been so long.
The original question was, if your
We're on
characters...
question number 2. You guys are going to be here for a very long time.
It's fine, they're happy.
Did everybody bring a sleeping bag?
What was the question?
If your character had been given a spin-off movie or show, what story or time period would you love to explore?
Oh, wow.
I want Stephanie Meyer's to write Victoria's story,
years
honestly.
of stories. Let me tell you, so it'll be a very long series. Yeah, I mean, like Rachelle, the work isn't really when you show up on the day. The work is all done before, So for me, it sounds silly, but I have 350 years of of questions and journey, and like, where did he go, and why did he come to America, and why did he become a doctor? And so I had to answer all of those questions for myself, so it made sense. And then some of it is in the movie, but you guys wouldn't even notice because they're subtle, So for me, with Carlisle, I was like, well, why is he a doctor? Because, and I thought, well, he's a doctor because he doesn't want to let go of his humanity, and because he's fighting this vampire world, he doesn't want to be one. So if I could not eat people and live a vegetarian lifestyle, then I get to be human with eternal life, which is so beautiful, right? And so how can I hold on to that humanity? By helping other humans and holding on to that humanity through compassion of others. And why did he come to America? And then why are we playing baseball, right? And not hockey? I was thinking, if he had come to Canada, they would have been playing hockey. But he went to America, and so at the time, he came in the 1920s, and I imagined that he came over in the 1920s, and baseball was the national pastime of the U.S., and then I started to imagine that maybe, remember that baseball game, that you ever hear that story of Babe Ruth, where he pointed the center field and then hit the ball exactly where he pointed? You guys don't know that because you're Canadian, but that's the story. It's a famous American story of Babe Ruth. You guys know who Babe Ruth is, right?
Yes.
It's not a candy bar. But you're like, I love that candy bar. So anyway, so I was imagining that he was actually at that game because he first went to Chicago, and so then I imagined, oh, well, that's why he loves baseball. And then he brought it to his family, and that's how they get all their vampire frustrations out and get to utilize their skill sets playing this game. And then, so in the movie, if you notice, I point to the bat, and there's a camera move that starts at the bat and comes in at my face. And I told Catherine this story, and she was like, well, I'm going to make a camera movement at it, so you point the bat. And then we even had Elizabeth Reeser actually ad-lib the line, oh, not the Babe Ruth thing again. But that got cut out of the movie. But it's fun to do the backstory because it shows up. These things show up, and then it's a collaboration. So now my story informed Catherine, and then it became a camera movement. And you guys probably watch it and never, oh, that's the Babe Ruth thing. But for us, there's meaning behind all of it, So that's the fun of it.
You know what, I would, just before you, because Kellan, I know everybody wants to hear from you, but I just was thinking, I was like, you know what show I want to see? Is I want to see the show where, Dr. Cullen goes to, I want to see you in med school, a Grey's Anatomy, but, with a vampire. Yes! Right? Wouldn't that be a great medical show?
Can you write all of the new Twilight content just, right?
Yeah, the Doctor show with Carlisle. That'd be fun.
I'd watch it.
We'll have to come up with a clever Mick something
Yeah.
for you that reflects the
Mick Steamy.
vampire. You know.
Mick Sparkly.
Big Vampy.
Mick Vampy.
Mick Vampy. Oh, I like that.
That's funny.
That's your name for the rest of the show.
So
On
yeah,
to you,
we'll do a
Kellan.
Doctor show. We'll do a Doctor show.
Kellan's show is just a fitness show. It's just a workout show.
No, you know, Nikki and I, it's always great when we get a chat. We're all on group chats, different group chats, and Nikki and I were like, what would we do? Like, where is Rosalie and Emmett? And as much as she doesn't, you know, we want children, I could see it as a sitcom, kind of like the Brady Bunch, where we adopt all these kids who got turned. We have them all in the house. I'm like the Tim Allen character, and you know, Nikki's the one who's like, oh, Rachelle, that's
Tool time with Emmett.
Tool time, yes, that'd be awesome. And then we're just breaking cabins left and right. So,
That's like cute and sweet though, because you're following in adopted daddy's footsteps.
That is.
Continuing on the found family trope through the generations of vampires.
yeah.
There you go. Oldest son, it makes sense.
These were all very good ideas. Does somebody write this down?
Yeah, no,
There's a
any
writer
writers in the group, we expect those fans to
Left a lot of story out. Like even in the books, there was so much more story that I wish they did do like a series version of like, you know, the prequels, and then we could have told the stories forever, like, because there was so much already in the books, and then there's stuff after, like where are we now? I want to know what Renesmee is doing. You know, with Jacob. And
Jacob's in jail.
I'm on a cliffhanger.
He's in jail. That's what
I think she's like 30
Especially
now.
nowadays.
Like, she's like 30 now.
There's 100. There's something.
You're like, Jacob's in the doghouse again.
all of us now in our 30s who picked Team Edward, we're really happy we did.
He's got issues too.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's no
Bella,
kidding, actually looking back.
he was 100 and something.
Yeah, it's a lesser two evils. It's like the 100-year-old dating the 18-year-old, or the
18-year-old dating the
18-year-old
baby.
who's in love with the baby. Because if someone came around and was like, I really love your daughter, and I'm gonna watch over her till she's 18, I'd be like, get out. Get out of my house. I'm calling the police.
It's funny, do you know one of my friends actually said to me about it, we were talking about it, one of my friends was like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, this is my friend speaking, he's like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, so as we get older, it's not that we just age physically, we age mentally.
Yes.
Right? Like, I don't feel 20 anymore, and when I look at 16-year-olds now, I see children,
Yes.
right? And you can't turn that off. So my friend was like, so let me get this straight. So some guy's like 150 years old is stalking and trying to spend the rest of his life with a teenager, and you're the villain?
We need a book
Yeah, that's
from
what I
your
said. I was like,
perspective.
maybe we're the crazy one. I don't. But then the other side is that he's in love with a baby. So like, oh, I'm just imprinting. No, get out.
Yeah.
Out of the house.
This explains so much about millennials' childhoods. Oh my gosh. I'm one of them. Okay.
Question 3.
Question 3. Erica from Ardrey. I said it wrong. I'm from Edmonton. You can yell at me. Your characters were part of some of the most intense scenes in the series. Do you each have a favorite scene that you filmed, or one that sticks with you the most?
Baseball scene.
I think that's with all of us.
I think anytime we were all together, that was fun. The baseball scene was fun because we had all you guys with us. We didn't have a lot of scenes together.
No, we didn't.
We were always on the chase, and we were always on the run. But the cooking scene, or the Italian cookies, that was fun. The training, when we're all training for an eclipse, that was fun. The battle sequence at the end was fun. Like anytime, people are always like, what was your favorite scenes? I'm like, whenever I saw on the call sheet that we're all working together, that's when I was like, oh, this is gonna be a fun day.
I have the opposite answer. It's like my favorite scenes were I was alone which was a lot, but especially like in New Moon, because it was so unbelievably cool. Like in New Moon, I got there, and a lot of the time, so they have something called second unit. Second unit goes out. It's like a splinter crew. It's like it's your own filmmaking crew, and you go out and you shoot stunts or some scene that they got to run to this location, and we can't change the schedule, so we're just going to go out or whatever. But a lot of the time, you do this scene, and then the next day you do something else. And so I just thought they're gonna film with the Cullens one day, and then the next day I'll be on the call sheet, and And I got there, and they were like, "Oh no, we have a whole crew for you. Like we have your stunt coordinator. Our stunt coordinator is going to be the director, and we're actually sending you out into the woods with like a whole movie crew." And I went off for a week by myself. And it was just me and my incredible stunt double, Atlin Mitchell, who's so amazing. And we were just alone out there making a different movie. I felt like I was making a different movie. And we were just, Atlin and I were just the stars, and we had our own crew and we were in our own world, and that was amazing.
Second unit's always fun because it's less pressury, because there's really no time constraint. Like they have a lot of more time. Right, so they're doing all the action stuff. When you're shooting main unit, there's always a time crunch. Like we got to get all these scenes in, and it's usually a lot of dialogue. The second unit's more the action stuff, so it becomes more like a fun day. And unless you're, we had scenes. Did you have to do the treadmill one, or you did the walk one?
No, I just did the magic carpet.
Yeah, the magic carpet. That was fun. So we had in a lot of the scenes, running scenes. I don't know if you ever saw the behind the scenes of this, but. This is what the torture device they came up with. They had a treadmill on the back of like a flatbed, and they would pull it with a car. And so it was strapped into this flatbed, so you're getting pulled like 50 miles an hour, and they're filming you from another car while you're running on the treadmill and you're buckled in. Kind of, you're like, is this safe? Oh yeah, no, we've tested it. Okay. But then even when you're doing it, they're like, our second unit in those movies, they'd be like, so tomorrow you're running. I'm like, oh, because you're running for like all day on this treadmill. And like, you do like a 5-minute sprint as fast as you think. It's like running on 10. You ever go on the treadmill on like 10? And doing that for 5 minutes straight, because you got a camera on you, so you can't pant and take a break while you're getting pulled on by a truck. So you feel like you might one of these bolted things break off, you're gonna die. And on top of that, you're wheezing, and you feel like you might. He loved it for some reason. Oh yeah, gym day. I get to
work out all day.
Yeah, I'm gonna run tomorrow.
After that, I was good. I was like, I gotta go see a movie.
You were like, what can I eat now?
Eggs!
Yes. Lots of eggs.
I told him a fan, was there a fan here that wanted to ask that question? I know we were on like question 3, but I said, tell Kellan to tell you the egg story.
The egg story, so my favorite was breaking dawn, because we got to do the fight scene, got to do the arm wrestle scene with Bella. Let her win, guys, I let her win. Then we got to work with a lot of talented people, but the eggs thing was, we're in the cafeteria, we're vampires, we have to act like humans. It'd look really weird if we just sat there, even though it looked weird anyways. With Peter, or not Peter, Edward. Yeah, the fingers. You seen that? But
it's the greatest sit down in cinematic history. It's a genius. He's gonna play Batman one day.
Yeah. But Emmett was the jock, and when I played football in high school, we all drank a lot of protein powder, protein shakes, ate a lot of hard-boiled eggs, sometimes raw eggs like Rocky Balboa. But we would do that, and so I'm like, okay, Emmett does this. Kellan does that to be bulk like Emmett. And I told Catherine, I'm like, I think Emmett would have eggs, and she's like, why? I'm like, well, because of this, this, and this. And she's like, okay, try it. And it was really funny. So the hard thing was not to eat them, because in between takes,
stop eating the prop eggs. Because he eats eggs all the time for protein. He doesn't have his own baggie of eggs.
Yeah.
So is that Kellan's prop bag, or is that his snack bag?
Tomato, tomato, it's all the same. It was fun.
I forgot about the eggs till now. Okay, Are you ready for the next question?
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
question 3.
Question 4.
Okay,
We got
we're moving along now.
We're doing great.
Speed round. Yes or
Okay.
no?
The first Twilight movie came out 15 years ago. How does it feel looking back at like the movies themselves, the impact your characters made, and them now coming back and being popular again because a new generation is watching them, thank you, streaming services? What's that feeling of looking back and seeing these movies and you all thought baseball scene, it was like, oh no, this is going to be horrible, and it just exploded into what they are now?
It's really cool because like when we shot it, we had some Twilight moms before we knew they were Twilight moms. Before the first one came out, we'd have moms come to set, and then they would have their daughters. And there's a photo of Nikki and I holding this baby that this mom gave to us. And then she disappeared, and we're like, we thought it was a production's mom, you know, something. We're like, guys, we can't come to set. We have this baby. It's freezing outside. Anyways, long
Should've used it
story.
for Renesmee.
Yeah, I don't know, look a lot better. We didn't make it that far yet in the movies. But then these Twilight moms have kids. They're coming to these events 15, 20 years later. We get to meet them. They're bringing the photos that we took at a con we did 15 years ago. And it's multi-generational now. There was a grandma the other day that it was 3 generations. And that's what's really cool when the movies come back out on Netflix or any streaming platform.
That grandma was 12 when the movie came out.
Yeah, it's just awesome. It really is.
I totally agree with that, and just to add to that, one of my favorite elements of that is when moms who were fans of the movie and then now their kids are old enough to watch it and they're sharing it. I get a lot of moms bringing their daughters up and being like, I showed her Twilight and I wanted to show her that her curly red hair was cool, like, and I get like I'm such a cheap date. I cry at everything. It's so easy to make me cry. But I get a lot of like young girls, preteens or teenagers who were like, you know, thank you because like I hated my curly hair and now and I was them. Like I was the kid with the frizzy curly hair with braces who ate alone at lunch and didn't know how to be and didn't know how to do my hair, and so it's really cool. The Twi moms are now bringing their redheaded daughters to come and be like, look. So that's really fun.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, isn't that sweet?
That's adorable.
How many? Let me see. It's so hard to see you guys.
Yeah.
But by show of hands, how many of you watched the movies in a theater? Wow. And then now, how many of you have never seen it in a theater but watched it on like some streaming platform or a DVD?
Yeah, that's a pretty
All
good
right,
rate.
still got some more theatrical than not, but that'll flip. You know, you see more and more people now that are like, oh, I never got to see them in the theaters, but I've seen them on stream, which is kind of fun. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, we've got a couple minutes.
Oh no.
Right, you said, has that been 45 minutes?
You killed your time perfectly. I'm not complaining at all. I think we got fantastic stories
I
today,
want my
don't
money
you?
back.
It was fantastic to see you guys again, see you guys together, get a chance to chat with you. I think, if anything, before we leave, could we get a photo with the crowd?
Yeah.
Do you have time for one more question? Do we have time for one?
Take the house lights
Yes,
now.
I can do one more question. How
Let's
about a
do one
really
more.
fast one? Backstage will hate this answer, and I know she'll hit me later, but it'll be fine. Do you have any favorite Canadian snacks you want to try while you're here, or ones you like particularly? I'm sorry, I have to ask it at every one.
I haven't gotten to try it, but a fan gave me ketchup potato chips, so
How did you enjoy them?
I haven't tried
And you're
it.
gonna try the dill pickle.
Yeah, well, dill pickle they have in the States, but
They do?
I've never. Yeah, they do have dill pickle in the States. I've never tried the ketchup potato chips, so
They're so good.
In the South, did you know this? In the South, they have ketchup. You're from Tennessee, right? They have ketchup, and then they also sell catsup. C-A-T-S-U-P.
No, I've lived there for 2 years and I've never heard of this.
That's a catnip.
No, it's ketchup.
You're not actually supposed to eat that.
Just like
The
here,
bottle
guys.
says C-A-T-S-U-P, catsup. And I'm like, what's the difference between catsup and ketchup? And I still don't know. Unless like there's
so
somebody in the South, they say, "Oh, give me a bottle of that ketchup." And somebody was like, just thought it was ketchup the whole time. But there's actually like they sell catsup. Look in the supermarket for ketchup.
I'm gonna look it
Yeah,
up.
we're gonna Google this.
Mine, What did you say? Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say mine are, because I'm from Montreal, and I grew up in Montreal. And so, yes, thank you. Salut Montréal, je t'aime. And so when I get off the plane, I'm like, I need a score bar, I need a caramel bar, and I need a crispy crunch. Like, great. By the way, can we have a moment of silence in here, please? Everybody, I just want you to bow your heads and just take a moment of silence. They have discontinued the cherry blossom.
Yes. We will mourn this to the end
Like,
of the
it wasn't bad enough when Dairy Milk switched out the chocolate from the Cadbury, right? Like, that wasn't bad enough. Now they're discontinuing the cherry blossom.
My mom
but yeah,
cried.
Yeah, and I go to the U.S. when I'm in the U.S. a lot of the time, you have expressions from your country, and whenever there's something where like somebody's like, oh yeah, and you're trying to figure something out or you can't remember, and it's like a mystery, I often catch myself going, how do they get the caramel in the caramel bar? And Americans look at me like I'm insane. I don't know what I'm talking about. So, yeah.
Do you have a snack? No?
Everything.
Canadian eggs.
Man.
All right. We'll give you Canadian eggs, I'm sure.
I mean, there's Canadian goose. I mean, that'd be weird if I had it.
No, they're protected. You just
Maybe.
run from them. It's safer.
I run towards them.
That's a brave man. That is a brave man. Thank you guys so much for coming out today. Yeah, we're going to bring out on stage